I grew up in the days where trains came to you. They were much a part of everyday life as the interstate highway, the jet airplane is today. The railroads were not only a symbol of economic progress and of transportation. Keep in mind, before the steam locomotive came into being, nobody on earth had ever traveled faster than a galloping horse. So it helped shrink the country. And the development in the 19th century of the railroads also expanded, made it possible to settle the West. These are narrow gauge cattle cars behind us. After the mining industry declined, a lot of the revenue that those narrow gauge lines had was the spring movement of livestock to summer pasture up in the mountain valleys, and then in the fall back down to the markets. By that time, the Denver Union Stockyards, they had their own banks, hotels, restaurants. You would see just everybody out there, the cattle buyers, the ranchers, the workers in the packing plants. Many of them were from, the various Eastern European countries. It was just a cosmopolitan mix of everything out there. I think probably the 1970s saw the last movement to any great extent of livestock by rail. The whole nature, as you know, of the market changed. Instead of having the centralized places in the large cities, they began to establish the feedlots regionally in various parts of the western states, and also the packing plants, which were usually right next to the stockyards. They were decentralized, and it economically was much easier to have as short a haul as possible, bringing the animals in to regional places, and then everything seems more bland. It's more efficient. We can do wonderful things on the internet, and the efficiencies of size. But just for example, we're talking about freight trains. You look at freight trains today, and they all look alike. There's all the railroads used to be 100 or more separate railroads, and now they're all merged into four major ones across the country. And except for the paint, the engines look the same. The cars are, a solid train of coal or a solid train of grain. In the old days, all the cars of the different lines would be interchanged, and you could watch a train go by, and it was fun to see where the cars came from. The Northern Pacific, the Erie-Lackawanna, the Maine Central, you name it. You could go on, and if you saw an unusual car from somewhere else, way back east or down south, that was kind of fun. You could entertain yourself as a kid that way. Remember, 100 years ago, most people never got farther than 50 miles from where they were born. Travel was a luxury for the wealthy, and so this train was a symbol of going over the horizon. If a young person in a small town would catch a train to get to the big city to make his or her career somewhere else.